G'day, Dwayne. How are you going?
Good, thanks, Jack.
Excellent to have you on the podcast today. You've got a few businesses you've been working with. But before we get down to agribusiness, can you just tell us a bit more about your own story and what's led you to these moments and where you're working at today?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me on as well. It's been fantastic. I listened to your podcast. Now, my story, I'm from a farm. Grew up on a farm in Western Victoria, a little place called Marnoo. We've got still got a family farm there. It's a mixed farm, so sheep and grain. And as I said, I grew up there and till my teenage years, went through school and then basically went and worked on the farm right through till I was about 35. So basically been a farmer until I was 35. I'm now 50, so I spent the last 15 years doing a few different things. But on that farm, we mainly sold merino rams. That was our sort of core income earner. So I was heavily involved in that, and it was quite an exciting business to be in. It had its limitations with selling seed stock. We used to sell them all around Australia, probably 600 or 700 rams a year, and into South America. So that's probably where my story early on.
Whereabouts in South America did you get them to?
Argentina, Chile,
Yep.
Paraguay, those sort of places. We still do sell some. My brother runs a farm and he sells some genetics over that way still. But it was quite a big part of our business, mainly embryos and semen and some live rams from time to time.
Yeah, it's excellent. So, like, coming from a farming background, it's the trend with a lot of our speakers. And how did this transition into your current businesses of today with FarmTender?
I really like dealing with people and farmers. So, you know, and as I said before, the ram selling business had its restrictions. So basically you only service 100 plus clients, but I was fascinated by the internet all the way through and saw a real opportunity to sell things like livestock machinery, grain, hay on the internet. So I sort of started out dabbling in that while I was on the farm, and then we didn't have very good internet service or phone service on the farm, so I actually moved away from the farm to find better service so I could start this FarmTender business, and that's what I did.
And where did you move into, like the city or?
No, I moved to a place in northern Victoria on the Murray River called Yarrawonga. Lovely part of the world. Lived there for 10 years from 35 to 45 with my family and made lots of friends over there, but it was a fantastic place to base ourselves, obviously, with and a really good spot to start a business. You know, we've always been a regionally based business. I actually moved to the city in the last 2 years, but that'll end and we'll head back to the country again after all this COVID thing's finished.
Yeah, absolutely. So for like FarmTender, how does it all work? Is it just an online marketplace if I want to sell my tractor or my hay?
Yeah, basically it is. All you do is you've got to register with our FarmTender website, and then after you've registered, you can just go and list what you want to sell. Now, it's free to list. We only charge people if they sell something. Yep. So basically it's free to list. And then we've got people in the background that actually help you through the buying and selling process. So we've got guys that help you through that process, and, you know, it works really well because we're servicing our customers. You know, there's actually someone on the end of the phone to talk to.
Yeah, okay. So you're not left hanging. You've got a bit of a team working behind the scenes there, building it up.
Yep, no, definitely. They're an integral part of the business. You know, like what I tell people is that the website is our shop front, but it's what we do as people servicing our customers behind the scene is the guts behind the business. And that's what's made it grow over these years.
Yeah, absolutely. So has it been running since 2007? Did I get that right?
No, it's 9.5 years old now. So
Right.
about 2010 or 11, I can't really remember now. I struggle with what happened yesterday, let alone 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's it. For what's like the most common products you get through currently?
Mainly, it's one of those businesses where when I started out, I started with all sorts of different things. So we do lots of used machinery, trucks, vehicles. We do livestock equipment. We also do hay, grain, and to a lesser extent livestock. But the two most traded things on our website are used machinery and hay.
Yeah, okay, so the most common things coming through all the time and not so much just seasonally.
No, it's funny, and because like since the end of February, it's been really tough to sell hay on the domestic market.
Yep.
Because the season's obviously taken off. But the 2 years leading up to that, we virtually sold 3.5 seasons worth of hay in those 2 years. So hay was really good to us. Obviously, there was a drought in New South Wales and Queensland in that time. And obviously, when that sort of happens, the machinery sales drop off because, there's less confidence around. But when things pick up, the hay drops off and the machinery goes through the roof. And that's what we're going through at the moment. It's just going gangbusters on the used machinery. A lot into New South Wales where they look as though they're having a pretty big crop.
Yep.
A lot of harvest gear and hay gear. They've probably made up their mind they're sick of buying hay off Victoria and the southern states, and they want to make some of their own. And we're selling lots of baling equipment, etc., etc.
That's excellent. So, did you have any challenges or whatnot coming in from farming background? Getting into the internet world is a big step up for a lot of us.
Not really. I'm not technical. I'm not a tech person or a technical person. I like to think I study business systems and business models and things like that. But I always outsource all the technical side, and it's always quite frustrating because you think these guys should be able to build this thing in 6 weeks, for example, and it usually takes 6 months. So you wonder where all the time goes. But no, I'm not the technical side of person. I just come up with some of the ideas, but basically we put our products out there, and we think it's going to head in a certain direction. But then the customers will tell us, they'll advise us on a few things, and it'll head in a slightly different direction. So, and that's how you really establish products, with the collaboration of your customers.
Yeah, of course. And for FarmTender, you're sending stuff all across Australia, you see?
Yeah, definitely.
It's into most states?
It's an Australia-wide market. We're pretty much our core, where we started was Victoria, southern New South Wales, southeast of South Australia. And that's sort of, that's still our main area. But with the drought, we sold a lot of hay into New South Wales and Queensland. So we're really picked up in those areas. And what we find now is those guys that were buying hay through us during the drought are now buying machinery or selling machinery, grain and livestock and livestock equipment, trucks, etc. So it's one of those things that we get good word of mouth promotion. So because it's free to list, we only charge if you sell something. So it's really a performance-based platform. So if people don't sell anything, it doesn't cost them. So, we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing for everyone to get a result. And when everyone gets a result, well, we get paid along the way.
Yeah, of course. And for marketing, how do you get this across? Have you done much marketing for it, or it is just based off word of mouth?
No, look, haven't really done any marketing. Look, I've tried the newspapers and things like that, but the Richter scale doesn't really even blimp when you do things like that. Our biggest marketing advantage is Google search. So people, because we do lots of used machinery, there's lots of different combinations. So, for example, when someone goes looking for a Case MX135 tractor, they'll type that in specifically. And if we've got one, we'll come up near the top. So we'll get found pretty easily because we've got lots of content on our website. So we get ranked fairly high up the top on the free search. So what happens then is, someone will see that we've got one, they'll click on the link, they'll see that we've got one for sale. They've got to register to inquire about it. There's no phone numbers, etc., on the listing because we need to know, who's inquiring on stuff. So, but at the same time, they'll think, oh, righto, well, I've got a few things to sell. It's free to list. I'll go and stick my stuff there. So that, I think it's 68% of our members, our new sign-ups come from Google search, and it's 12% that come from word of mouth. And the rest is sort of a combination of all different things.
Yeah, okay. So in the back end, are you working on search? Like I've worked a bit with SEO over in London. Do you have someone working for that, or it's?
No, I have had SEO people employed over the years for 2 or 3 different occasions on 12-month contracts. It hasn't made much difference. I've kept records, KPIs since the start, and virtually our graph is sort of on a 30-degree angle going up steadily over the 9-year period, and the times we have paid for SEO and those sorts of things, it hasn't moved that far. So we don't do it. We don't really know whether it makes a huge difference or not. So we're just happy to grow organically and keep up the level of growth we're currently experiencing.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's going really well for you. You got around 41,000 members on the site.
I think I'll give you an update what we've got right at this minute. So we've got 47,434 members at this point in time. So we should have 50,000. We're doing about 1,000 new members a month now. So we should be up to about 50,000 by the end of the year, which is quite an achievement. And most of those guys are farmers or agricultural related people.
That's excellent. For these contacts, do you collect the data just to see the trends of what's going on, or a cluster of farmers?
No, as I said, I've kept it's probably about 10 or 12 KPIs I've kept. Keep each month for the last 9 years.
Yep.
So basically just to get ideas and trends and what's happening and, whether we're still growing in particular areas and things like that. Now, I also, for our staff, I do daily, what we call daily numbers. So there's about 30 KPIs that we measure each day. So all that data just goes onto a Google document and I send it out to our staff every day. So they can see what, each other sales guy sold, how many views we had that day, how many new members signed up, a wide range of things.
Yeah, it's excellent. So it just allows you to be able to support them better or lift up a certain sector. One needs a bit more work.
And there's a few things, we all work remote. So every one of our staff works from home and they're all spread around the regional areas of Australia. So it's just part of, the things we've developed over the years to, for remote working, which a lot of companies and people are going through at the moment. So we've established a really good model. And also, you get a bit of an understanding of how your people are going. They might have an issue at home or something. You can see if their numbers have dropped off, for the last couple of weeks, and you can give them a call and say, is everything all right? Because there's a lot of, there's mental health issues in the community. So we've got to be I've got to be aware of that as well.
So they've been working from home, over the past few years, not just from COVID.
No, we since I started the business, I've worked from home. So it started with me and just me.
Yep.
And then I've bootstrapped the business all the way through. So as we build up our revenue and get a little bit busier, I'll just employ another person. Same thing again. And it was funny because I used to, we used to send job ads out there, and we'd employ someone, and they'd always say, "Oh, I'm going to go and jump my ute, and I'm going to go and visit every farmer." I'll say, "You can go and do that, but you'll realise, you'll realise very quickly that the best working you can do is sitting in front of your computer with your earpiece in your ear, talking to the farmers on the phone. So that's the best thing, and that's the way it all works out. Like our guys, from whenever they log on in the morning till they drop off at night, they're just basically working on the computer and talking back and forward to farmers. So we get some great intel from our customers of what's going on in the farming world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think for like FarmTender, it's a really good thing for across Australia, so we can not get rid of our products, but like sell our products to nationwide. As someone's always out there looking for a piece of equipment or even, hey, your commodity, of course.
That's it. And
no,
it just, things, a piece of machinery doesn't sell in the back of the shed. It's got to be marketed. So, and we get plenty of, we're getting between 8,000, 11,000 unique viewers a day. So we can get plenty of eyeballs on products. So that's the advantage we've got. And, it makes a huge difference. Like, you're getting those eyeballs on products is what it's all about.
Absolutely. Have you seen like a bit of a trend on like purchasing equipment, but it's for short-term use? So you may not see a use for it, or it's for like, you want to hire it out just so you can get the most out of that product.
There's a bit of that goes on. Yeah, there's a bit of like, you'll get a lot of air seeders come up for sale after cropping time. So people are looking to move those air seeders so they want to sell that air seeder before they'll go and buy a new one. So as soon as the cropping's finished, they'll put it out there. We see instances like, let's say the super conditioners or the macerators, we'll sell one to a guy in the Mallee who'll use it, get all his work done, and then they'll sell it to a guy in southern Victoria, 3 or 4 weeks later, and then they'll use it. And, that's, basically turning over stuff really quickly. We see a bit of that. And the trend is there are no trends. So, what you think might be a seasonal seller will sell all year round, because what's happening is our customers are searching for stuff all the time. And if they find, they actually know what they want these days. And if they find something, they'll pursue it. Doesn't matter whether it's, a harvester leading into harvest, it could be after harvest. They just want that item.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's excellent what you're doing with FarmTender. And I guess that moves us on to your next business in DelayPay. Was this an offcast of FarmTender, bringing more options to cash-strapped farmers as such?
Yeah, it's probably not that. We've got a lot of data on how farmers pay, and we've got a sort of a rule by that farmers pay. It's just a matter of when. So the supplier wants to be paid on the spot, but some farmers don't pay to 90 days. Some will pay 30 days. Some will pay on the spot. It's just there's no set rules. So we've got a lot of data on how farmers pay. So the reason we started DelayPay was on the back of that, because once again, the suppliers want to get paid straight away. They want to know they've got the money, in their bank account before they move stuff, or, within a week or whatever it is. So that's the reason why we started DelayPay. We give, DelayPay, and I'll explain a little bit more about it in a minute, but I registered the URL or the domain name, I think it was about 4.5 years ago when I saw Afterpay come out. I was fascinated by what Afterpay did and their business model. And I thought this could operate for farmers, but on a different level. And that's basically how it's happened. I bought the URL or the domain, but I didn't use it for 2 years because I didn't have a model that was that would that we could use. But then I came across a guy called Kelsey Mill, who's an ex-banker, and he was doing a little bit in the trade credit insurance market, and he said, I reckon we can do something here. And after talking to him, meeting him, and we talked about it, and within 4 weeks we had a product on the table that was ready to use. So it was pretty exciting.
That's a quick turnaround to get it all going up and running. So for like DelayPay, what's it for? It's not for just buying your next pair of shoes within 4 installments.
No.
But larger equipment?
No, it's large. Basically, any farmer, any agricultural good. So livestock, fodder, grain, used machinery, new machinery, livestock equipment, diesel, water. Virtually anything you can think of, we use it for. So how it works is the farmer just establishes a credit limit with us. So all we need is their ABN, trading name, and a photo of their license, or if they're a partnership, each partner's license. We send that into our insurance company, and within 24 hours, we'll have a limit. Now, we'll do up to about 100 grand without any financials, and there's no security involved. So the whole thing is a combination of finance and insurance. Now, how it works is, let's say, Jack, you've got a 50 grand limit, you want to buy 30 grand worth of hay.
Yep.
So basically, you indicate you want to buy the hay. So we invoice, the seller invoices us. So we buy the hay off the seller and then we sell it to you. So virtually we're trading goods, and then we just give you up to 6 months terms to pay for that, those goods. So that's how it works. And it's a really flexible, simple and quick product. Unlike, it's going off tap at the moment because, farmers are finding it hard. Farmers' income is quite lumpy. So you get big, periods where you're getting no income, and all of a sudden you get a heap of income. You know how it all works, and farmers know how it works. So, we're getting a lot of business now because, banks aren't quick to move, and asset finance companies are slow to, get all the paperwork done. Ours is a low doc, or virtually zero document product that is really quick and easy to use. And basically it's going nuts at the moment.
When did it first come into play? A couple of years ago or more recent?
Yeah, I think it was November. So we're nearly, this November, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah, right. That's quite quick turnaround for it going bananas for you. What challenges have you had? Any hiccups along the way?
Oh, look, there's always hiccups. Growing the business is something we want to do. We're quite happy, and this is with most things we do. We're quite happy to take baby steps at the start and just get the model, ironed out. And that's what we've done in this instant. We're in a position now where we really want to grow it. So we use a third-party finance company, and we use an insurance company, a combination of both. Now, one day we'd like to have our own fund, so we don't need the third-party finance company, but we're not at that level yet. That's the level where you're talking much larger figures than we're dealing with. But yeah, it's a real growth area, and the buy now, pay later, which we classify ourselves as a buy now, pay later product, because that's what it is really booming at the moment.
Yes, I suppose farmers have had access to this, but more so through loans, equipment loans, and whatnot. What differentiates DelayPay from equipment loan or just a loan in general for agriculture?
Well, and we'd like to say we're not providing finance, we're just giving farmers terms. Yep. But what differentiates is a turnaround speed, the low doc product, and the flexibility. The flexibility and how we administer. Everything we do, through my FarmTender business is always serviced by people. This is no different. So we're always on the end of the phone. We're always talking to our customers. If they pay out early, we give them a rebate for paying out early. We want them to pay out early. We encourage that. So it's a real quick product. It's flexible and it's easy to use. That's how we differentiate ourselves, and we're finding a real niche in the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that being independent from the big banks allows you that quick turnaround, and also people are interested to see what the smaller guys are doing, especially for farmers. Have you seen a loyal support there? People are returning.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. I'd say we'd probably have 200 customers, and 70% of them are return customers. And our minimum invoice is 10,000. So our average invoice is about 40,000. that we fund. So no, it's amazing. And, we, unlike, the buy now, pay later companies, they need hundreds of thousands, millions and millions of customers. We'd have a quite substantial business with 1,000 customers. It's, the repeat business and the size of each transaction is, enough to keep us very, very busy.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need hundreds of thousands of customers, like you said. No. It's excellent, like you're building this up, and it's another level for farmers to access. For like you say you pay within 6 months as a farmer. Is this stagnated, or you can just pay? Like, does it go monthly, or how does that work?
No. Basically, it's up to the individual how they pay. So they can pay in one lump sum at the end. Some at the end. Some people like to pay in instalments, like your dairy farmers who get the milk check middle of every month. Some people will pay it when it comes in. Like it's more an opportunistic product, so people are using it for opportunities. Like now, currently, we're doing a lot of harvest equipment because let's say, take New South Wales for example. There's potentially a big crop there. People know they need chaser bins, they need an extra header, they need this, that. So they'll go out and buy these things on DelayPay, and they know they're going to get the money to pay it back later. A good example early on was we had a guy who was offered this $300,000 hay baling contract, but he had to get the bales to a certain weight, and he didn't have the baler to make the bales that particular weight the farmer was after. Yep. So he contacted us, and we got him a limit, and then he went out and bought a new baler that would do, I think it cost him 120 grand, and he went out and bought that would do the weights that the farmer required. He got the $300,000 contract, and within 3 or 4 months, he paid us back. He owns a baler, and he's got money in his pocket. So without that, he would have struggled to, So it's all about opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely, and moving with the seasonal market of what agriculture operates on, of course. For like
look, it does.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, it does. Like early out when we were starting out, it was a big focus on fodder because of the drought. Now that it's hard to shift hay at the moment, so the focus has shifted more towards machinery and equipment. Inputs like fertilizer, urea, chemical, things like that.
Yeah, for like DelayPay or even FarmTender, have you seen like an impact from COVID, the pandemic, and also the drought, I imagine?
Like if anything, and as I said, I lived in Melbourne for the last year and a half, and to see a lot of those businesses, cafes and restaurants and all the businesses within the CBD and things like that, like they're going to really struggle from now on. But agriculture has had a fantastic run through COVID, and apart from perhaps wool, everything's been going along pretty good. No one can complain too much. So look, it was amazing since I worked out that our traffic was up 47% from the end of January till the end of May. So it's been pretty amazing for us. Like people are obviously, even farmers are searching for more stuff. Some people within the agricultural industry that aren't farmers were at home working and obviously searching for things in the agricultural space, and we would come up. So yeah, we just noticed a huge increase in our traffic, which led to more listings, more sales, more revenue, etc., etc.
Do you think like over the last few years working within the industry, you've seen a shift towards farmers starting to trust the online shop fronts?
Yeah, very much so. Because we've got a human being on the other end of the phone, we build up a lot of trust with a lot of our customers. We build really strong relationships with our farmer customers, and over time that takes a lot to build in agriculture. Agriculture is, as you'd know, Jack, it's slow to get going. You just don't move quickly in agriculture. Agriculture doesn't let you do that. So it's been a slow build for us, one customer at a time, one listing at a time, one sale at a time. I still get excited to see people sign up, overnight during the day. That still excites me. Making sales, through our website, giving people opportunities to sell things, that's what really excites me. So no, it's been really good.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I love like getting into these sort of stories, especially for farmers starting something new. You've been in the business for nearly 10 years of building these up.
Yep.
So for like DelayPay or FarmTender, how do you see success or how do you measure this? You measure your KPIs and whatnot, but what's business success for you?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's the outcome for our customers. That's our success. Our people, the guys that work for us, the guys that work from home in our business, they just love dealing with people. They love getting a result for their customers, and they love our customers coming back time and time again to do business. So that's our measure of success. Obviously, we need, like every business, we need revenue to survive and to pay for our people and to keep upgrading our products and our services and things like that. So, but it's the outcomes that really excite and get us all out of bed every morning.
Yeah, absolutely. You're still getting pretty excited in the morning when you see a few more registrants come through, I bet.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at numbers all the time, and the numbers keep getting updated. So yeah, it's fantastic. We watch those things closely and try and figure out a few trends. As I said earlier, we get a lot of intel off our customers, so we can relay that in a blanket broadcast to the farming community what we're hearing from each individual farmer. You can sort of get a real guide of what's going on in the industry, and we feel obliged to relay that to our customers.
Well, I think it's like really excellent of what you're doing, and just providing more and building around what you know, and not going out too far into something that you don't know too much about. But for like you have to follow a process for this as a farmer going through. How have you approached that? Just for anyone they may have an idea and they're looking to build it on the internet or offline even. How would you suggest?
Start out and build a database. That's the most important thing that anyone can do, is build a database and obviously communicate with that database. We've been lucky enough, probably up until about two and a half years ago, where we've sort of bolted on new products. And don't worry, a lot of those products that we've bolted on haven't worked, but let's say we've bolted on 10 or 12 new products. There's 3 or 4 that you see there today that can stand on their own 2 feet as businesses in their own right. So, but we couldn't do that without an audience, without 47,000 members to market these products to. So build an audience from day one, build a database. That's the most important thing you'll ever do.
Yeah, absolutely. For like these products that aren't making it, how long do you give them before you give them the chop?
It varies, but not very long. Our customers, they tell us if something's not up to scratch. Some of the things we think will persist a bit, might run, will persist with a bit longer, but if they're no good, eventually they'll chop them. And we'll keep introducing stuff. Like we've just introduced a new product called the digital livestock exchange, and we're going through a complete rebuild of our platform. We're probably 6 months into that. We're probably 2 months away from going live with a brand new, UB product, because our current platform's 9 years old with bits and pieces bolted onto it. It's not the best user experience, but we'll have a much better user experience in a couple of months' time. And something like the digital livestock exchange, we aim to really, build on and make the process of using the digital livestock exchange for livestock farmers seamless.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's really excellent what you're doing both with FarmTender and DelayPay, and just combining the two together. They join really well together and work well. That's excellent. We might start to wrap it up there. We're getting into the time. For the Farm Advice podcast, who would you like to hear on here and why?
Yeah, that's gave that some good thought today, Jack, when you reached out. There's a guy called Alan Cooney who's a Queenslander. He's CEO of a company called TopX. They're a sort of a different agency business throughout Queensland, and he's had a lot of roles, CEO roles in agriculture, and he's a real deep thinker about agriculture and culture and systems and people and how people work and things like that. So he'd be a really, really good one to get on, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually used them up in Queensland for our sheep stud back home. So that'd be excellent to get in touch with him.
Yep.
Perfect.
He's no longer the CEO, but he's moving on to something else. But he was CEO for 5 years, but he's transformed that business into what it is today, or helped transform that business into what it is
excellent.
today.
We'll have to reach out to him, or if he's listening, he can reach out to us. That's excellent.
Yep.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Dwain. It's excellent to have you on. How can people contact you? Social media or DelayPay FarmTender?
Oh, you look. We use social media, and it's a big part. So just go to delaypay.com.au for DelayPay, obviously. And if anyone wants to reach out, there's a form there they can just fill out, and we'll call them back. But FarmTender is just farmtender.com.au. So if you're looking to sell something or you want to buy something, just go and register, and then away you go.
That's excellent. I'm sure a few people will reach out from this episode. It's excellent to have you on for today's podcast, Dwain. Talk soon. Talking to you or so.
Thanks, Jack. Much appreciated.